Green, chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, also former flight surgeon in the Army Special Forces. It's good to see you, sir. I just from a military perspective, as we look at this, the element of surprise here, the violence of action by Hamas, the ingenuity of the attack, air, land, and sea, 3,000 rockets, all of that is something that really was just not on, I think, anybody's radar.
Yeah, this one was a shocker, and it is a failure of the intel community. I think there'll be a lot of people digging into this in an after-action review, some kind of a root cause analysis of what happened here. But clearly, our intel, their intel, failed the nations.
I want to I think about this in so many different ways. I spent a lot of time when I was in Israel, down in southern Israel, for a number of Gaza. We called them wars at the time, but as we look at it as it relates to this, it's a whole different scale now, especially because you have the invasion into Israel. I think about the towns down there. We'll put the maps back up at Sderot, Ashkelon, Ashdod, a number of the kibbutzes down there. Just by dint of the geography, and depending on how many hostages Hamas grabbed, there's a very real possibility, and this has been talked to me by members of very close to the Israeli and American intelligence community. There's a very real possibility that there's some Americans right now, or those with American citizenship, inside the Gaza Strip as hostages.
That's very possible. Certainly dual citizens. There are a lot of dual citizens in Israel and the United States, so that's clearly a possibility. I've been talking with friends who were in the country. I'm aware of other congressmen who've reached out to me about having their constituents stuck in the southern part of the country. Fortunately, those individuals are safe at this time, but just trying to get them out. But in that, we think the number's about 180 right now. That's the last word I got from IDF friends of mine that are actually hostages. This is going to be, this is as hard as it gets. When you're talking about doing hostage rescues in a situation like Gaza, it doesn't get any harder. But of course, the Israelis are some of the best at it in the world. So, we'll see how it unfolds here in the next few weeks. But this is as bad as it gets.
It occurs to me that it may be that the Israelis themselves don't even know exactly how many people are hostage, exactly how many people are dead now 20 hours into this, because as I understand it, there's some places that they still may be fighting over. There's still a lot of places they're searching because there were a number of people who had taken refuge inside bomb shelters in their homes and in these communities. And the Palestinian gunmen knew that, and they came into those bomb shelters and they slaughtered people. It is sort of horrific as we think about it. What do you make, in this larger sense, right, of Israel's change of rhetoric? Is that for so long when it came to Gaza, there were proportional responses and there was the fear of civilian casualties, and Hamas used mosques and hospitals and everything else to hide their arsenal. Based on what Benjamin Netanyahu said, and I know you've spent a lot of time with the Israelis and in Israel, this is totally different in terms of language than anything I've ever heard out of them.
Yeah, well, it has to be, because the attack is so different. The Israelis pretty much gave the folks in Gaza everything they wanted. They left in 2005. They take care of the power and the water to the community. They opened the border walls so people could come over and have work, because all the millions that have been poured into Gaza have been wasted, and they could have built, schools and hotels on the beach, and they haven't done that. They pretty much just wasted the money. So the folks have to come into Israel to get jobs, and the Israelis have pretty much bent over backwards to help, and this is how they get repaid. It's a totally new level of attack, and I would anticipate that the response would be something we haven't seen in a very long time. And look, those Hamas, they need to go over there and kill every single one of them. I mean, that's what they've got to do, or something like this will happen again.